All right, now here we go. This is Alexander X. Mooney. Isn't that amazing? You remove one of those O's and it's money. Real money. He needs money. And this particular top piece was actually from, I think 538 or whatever it was? Trump score. Where does this guy stand with Trump? This guy is how often Mooney votes in line with Trump's position. 83% of the time. That's pretty damn good. So here's some articles I just searched for. Mooney stands behind Trump action on DACA. Mooney stands behind Trump on this thing. Okay. So this guy definitely is a Trump supporter. I wanted to know if he was a Trump supporter on purpose, because I felt like if he's putting a bill in the Congress or trying to move one forward, and it has to do with putting our dollar back on a gold standard, and the comments around Trump about gold standard and all that stuff, and even silver, I felt like, there might be something more than this guy just throwing a dart out there to see if it'll stick, So let's look at this. Latest action, 322. The old skull and bones number. I almost felt like they maybe throwing it in their face this time. Introduced 322. On Skull and Bones Day, we're going to destroy your New World Order system. Thanks. But the text, to define the dollar as a fixed weight of gold. To define the dollar as a fixed weight of gold. The United States dollar has lost 30% of its purchasing power since 2000 and 96% of its purchasing power since the end of the gold standard in 1913. Under the Federal Reserve's 2% inflation objective, the dollar loses half of its purchasing power every generation, or 35 years. American families need long-term price stability to meet their household spending needs, save money, and plan for retirement. The Federal Reserve policy of long-term inflation has made American manufacturing uncompetitive, raising the cost of United States manufactured goods by more than 40% since June of 2000, compared to less than 20% in Germany and France. Between 2000 and 2010, the U.S. manufacturing employment shrunk by 1/3 after holding steady for 30 years at nearly 20 million jobs. The American economy needs a stable dollar, fixed exchange rates, and money supply controlled by the market, not the government. The gold standard puts control of the money supply with the market instead of the Federal Reserve. The gold standard means legal tender defined by and convertible into a certain quantity of gold. Under the gold standard through 1913, the U.S. economy grew at an annual average of 4%, 1/3. Yeah, so in other words, under the gold standard, not after, when we were on the gold standard. The U.S. economy grew at an annual average of 4%, 1/3 larger than the growth rate since then, and twice the level since the year 2000. The International Gold Exchange Standard from 1914 to 1971 did not provide for a United States dollar convertible into gold, and therefore helped cause the Great Depression and stagflation. The Federal Reserve's trickle-down policy of expanding the money supply with no demand for it has enriched the owners of financial assets, but endangered the jobs, wages, and savings of blue-collar workers. Restoring American middle-class prosperity requires change in monetary policy authorized to Congress in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 5 of the Constitution. Section 2, define the dollar in terms of gold. Effective 30 months, about 2.5 years, after the date of enactment of this act, the Secretary of the Treasury, in this act referred to as the Secretary, shall define the dollar in terms of a fixed weight of gold based on that day's closing market price of gold, and 2, the Federal Reserve banks shall make Federal Reserve notes exchangeable with gold at the statutory gold definition of the dollar. So I can now go turn my dollars in for gold like we used to? Correct. During the 30-month period following the date of enactment of this act, so if it's approved, 30 months out, 2.5 years out, between that time, so the day it starts, out 30 months, in between there, basically, the United States government shall take timely and reasonable steps to disclose all of its holdings of gold together with a contemporaneous report of any United States governmental purchases or sales, thus enhancing the ability of the market and of market participants to arrive at the fixed dollar to gold parity in an orderly fashion. And didn't we just hear that China has done their first transaction in oil without using the dollar? That is a big 10-4. I've been reporting on this stuff for years. Hasn't happened yet, Joe. Hasn't happened yet, Joe. I know. But if we're a fly on the wall, why are those countries having meetings without us? Why are they gearing up for gold and stuff over there? China and Russia buying enormous amounts of gold, and allegedly we're not. They're buying and we're selling. Okay, right? Well, nothing happened. I still walk outside. My bank still works the same. My credit cards, everything's on. But old Snippy's paying attention, bringing it to you all the time. Of course, in recent times, I've been really focused on cryptos. But I also believe cryptos will play a role in this system. So we've got a guy here who just out of nowhere, let me just go ahead and put this bill in, perfect date, 3/22. Crush them skull and bones. Puts it in. So what was that, 2 weeks ago? Puts it in 2 weeks ago. Big time Trump supporter, congressman. Now, we do need to see it move forward. But again, behind the scenes, I think these congressmen realize the writing's on the wall, men and women, and we can't just leave the system in place. Yes, there's going to be a big event, big bond event perhaps, whatever, right? And shakes the world financial scene. And maybe gold and silver skyrocket. $600 silver is coming. Like Webbot has been predicting over and over and over and over again. Just hasn't happened yet, hasn't happened yet, hasn't happened yet. Still in the data. Still in the data. Yeah, another reason why I never wanted to sell any of my silver and didn't. I thought about it. Man, I could get more crypto with it. Ooh. And I'll be honest, if I see an absolute, like, epic proportion bloodbath in cryptos, like, oh my gosh, it was 110. Remember that Sunday, April 1st, guys, Easter? And I was, like, stuck. I wasn't sure if I should sell any, even like 10-something%. You know, back in, and I mainly mean Litecoin, to be honest with you, because I got a lot of Litecoin compared to my other stuff. But, you know, do I sell 10% back? Do I wait for it to go back there? You know, like if I see absolute destruction, like, oh my God, it got even lower than I was even threw out as an example, like crazy low numbers. I'm really thinking I might unload half of my silver to capitalize and get me some really, 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 really cheap Litecoin. I don't know that we'll see that, but it's a thought that has come across my mind here over the last couple of days. So that would be my access to some cash in a hurry, basically, to then go and buy some more crypto. In this case, yes, it would be Litecoin. So anyways, I want to share that with you. You just kind of pay attention to things. They don't really big announcement. There was no big news announcement about this. One congressman introduced a bill. It may go nowhere, which is true. It may go nowhere. But if it goes somewhere, that's what you need to find out and pay attention to. If it starts going somewhere, that means that all these Congress critters know the party's over. We're going to pretend like we didn't know. And when a big event happens, a bond event happens, we're going to pretend like we didn't see that coming too. And then we'll just react. Except they're going to react the way that they already knew how to. Oh, we've already got this bill going, the gold thing. Yep. No problem. We might find the bond event happens, and that is what pushes this bill forward, gets all sides of Congress to agree. President signs it in. Okay, guys, we've got 2.5 years to roll this out. In the meantime, markets are wonky, whatever. You know, I don't know. But I think this is, honestly, I think this would be good for cryptos one way or the other. So that's it. Take care.